My name is Michael Connor. I'm the fire chief here at Newton County Fire Services. This is actually the second department I've ever worked for. I started my career as a volunteer in Rockdale County at the age of 14. The state's come a long way. Now you have to be 17 even to be a volunteer. But I've been doing a little over 35, 36 years at Rockdale. I did retire in 2012 from Rockdale County at the rank of battalion chief. Had actually did a couple of stints as interim chief in my tenure there. And then I retired in 2012 and had the opportunity to come to Newton County in 2017, and I was hired as the fire chief April 10th of 2017. I've been here at Newton County ever since then as the department head over the fire services. We have a great department here. We've actually got 6 divisions within our department. We've got an admin division, we have a suppression division, we have a investigation division, we have an inspections division, we got a training division, and we also have a fire safety education, which is a public outreach division. And each division has its own tasks and goals that it works to meet every day. But the biggest one that most everybody probably is familiar with is going to be suppression. Well, we'll start out with our biggest, our suppression. Right now, in a suppression field, we're running 8 stations. I'll take that back. We're up to 9 now. We just opened Station 8 last week. We just opened Station 8 last week. So, but we've got 9 stations now. We operate technically 7 engines, 2 quints, a tender, a light and air, and a rescue, medium rescue, duty rescue. The men and women that's in the field every day on these trucks, they meet the needs of the citizens. When they call 911, they're going to get one of those guys or gals from the suppression field answering their call for help. So, most everybody sees the guys and the gals on the fire truck. Our next biggest probably division is going to be our training division. It's kind of broke up into 2 categories. We have a fire side and an EMS side. Chief Redmond is over that division, and under him he has Captain Lumpkin, Captain Taylor, and then on the EMS side he has our EMS coordinator, Rebecca Hill. And their job is tasked with making sure that those guys and gals that answer that call every day, that they are meeting state standards and they're keeping up with the state requirements of their training so that they are best qualified and trained to meet any needs that a citizen in our great county might have, that when they show up, they've got the proper training to render the aid needed. Our next division would be actually it's a combined, but our Fire Bureau, which covers fire inspections and fire investigations. These guys, they do all the plan reviews for life safety codes on most all of our commercial and industrial businesses that come into the county. They make sure that any business comes in that they're meeting state codes and the life safety codes. So that, as people come to work or visit these establishments, that, fire alarms work. They've got the right suppression systems in. So these guys, they stay very busy day to day on trying to make sure that they, go out and do these inspections in these businesses that our citizens, visit every day, so that they will be safe in these businesses. But the other hat they wear is fire investigators. These the guys in the Bureau, they're dual trained in inspections and investigations. So if we have a fire that is of suspicious nature, they actually go out and they do the investigations. And a lot of times, even by state mandates, if we get somebody that's burned in a fire, it has to be investigated, and these are the guys that go out and do the investigation to do cause and determination on fires that we might have. and the other one is our Fire Safety Bureau. Right now, this is a one-man department, but James Franklin, he is actually over that, and he does a lot of our public education. He does a lot with the senior services. I know that this past year he's not been able to get out as much as he would like because of the COVID restrictions, but James does a lot of in-school classes. He'll go into the schools and he teaches fire safety education. He has been down to our senior services and give our seniors a lot of fire education, about cooking and, trying to stay warm in the wintertime. He puts together a lot of public service announcements that the county does put on its website. I know that around Christmas and the holidays, last year he did one at Christmas about Christmas trees and making sure that they stayed watered. He did some demonstrations on if you don't keep your tree watered and it dries out and it gets too close to some type of combustible, how quick that tree can go up and cause a house fire. He also did one around Thanksgiving on turkey fryers. A lot of people are into frying turkeys now, but they really don't realize the danger of that needs to be done in the yard. I mean, we've had people, put them in the garages or on the back patios, and they drop that frozen turkey into that boiling oil, and it boils over. And so James is very, very good about, public outreach programs. He does actually a lot of the other county festivals. I know that Halloween, he participates in the Halloween festivities that the county puts on. Usually has a booth. A lot of times if you start missing James in some of those and you see Sparky the fire dog coming around, James is probably nearby. Okay. But those are some of, I reckon, our divisions that a lot of people really don't see, but they have a very monumental task that keeps the citizens safe, and public safety and education that the Fire Safety Bureau does. I think it's very instrumental in teaching young kids and our elderly, the importance of making sure you stay safe. We are growing thanks to the board, our county manager. We've actually, when I came to work on April 10th of 2017, we had 43 members in the department. We were running 7 stations, but now we're up to, like I say, 9 stations, and we're pushing about 140 full-time and part-time employees. I was privileged enough to sit on the strategic planning committee, and we did implement trying to adopt NFPA 1710, which is a standard for firefighter staffing on units. The board has been very, very instrumental in trying to work toward that. We're not there yet, but a lot of our trucks now, where we used to run 2 people to a truck, a lot of times, a lot of our trucks have 3 people and some of them have 4. We've actually been able to bring up some additional equipment. We now have a 4,000-gallon tender that is manned 24/7, which took additional personnel. We've added a light and air truck, which takes additional personnel. So as we grow, sometimes our numbers might not reflect on the number of people per unit, because we're actually been able to add more needed specialized equipment as we've gone along. So really been working with the board and, like I say, with the county manager, and they've really allowed our department to grow, and I think it has shown. Like I say, hopefully we're going to have a 3rd station online April of 22. Station 4 will should be have a groundbreak. Well, the groundbreak isn't going to happen, but hopefully we'll have a ribbon cutting. Right now, that station is on target to be completed in April of 2022, and so that would be another engine company up. And then once we get that engine up, or that station operational, due to its location, I think about 95 to 96% of our citizens now would be within 5 road miles of a fire station. And one thing that we do that benefits our citizens is the ISO rating. We've gone from a class 5 to a class 4 since I've been here, which really affects a lot of our people's insurance ratings, but we did have some big voids. Down around the Rocky Plains area, there was a big void. Kind of out around Dixie Road, the reserves, we had some breaks and people not being in 5 road miles of a station. And then on the north end, where Station 8 has just opened up, those people were written at a class 10, which a lot of those people's insurance probably went up 3 to 4 times what they'd been paying, going from a 5 to a 10 because of redistricting. That ISO come in when we were evaluated. But we did go from a 5 to a 4, and a lot of people's insurance ratings did drop. But now, once we get 8 and 4 and 2 is operational also, which was an old volunteer station. We renovated and made it operational to occupy 24/7 operations, because when it was just a volunteer station, it had a day room and 5 truck bays, but it had nowhere to sleep, eat. And so we had to go in and renovate that station, and we've done that December of 19, and that station came online. And then, like I say, Station 8 came online last week, and we're hoping that Station 4 will be online by April of 22. And everyone should be able to take I reckon their ISO rating should go from a 10 to a 4. But the majority of our people, but again, we're still working on staffing, and then to actually drop our ISO rating, then we're having to look at people within 2.5 miles of a fire station. So that again would be more stations, more manpower, more equipment. But one thing that I hope people understand, as we fight to get our ISO rating dropped, it actually helps our citizens, because our fire insurance will go down. But as our ISO rating also goes down, it fosters hopefully the growth of industry coming in, because when industry comes into a county, they look at fire service, because what their fire rates are going to be is one of their deciding factors. So we're trying to build the fire department. I know that the county is really working, being progressive and trying to bring in more industry to hopefully get the tax burden off the citizens. But to get the tax burden off our citizens, we've got to get industry in here to make up the difference. So we're hoping that as we grow, we can actually make it more attractive for industry, businesses, commercial, manufacturing to come into Newton County to make it their home, hopefully providing jobs for our citizens, but also helping to offset some tax relief where they would pick up more of the tax burden than the homeowner. I think what motivates me is I got to where I am from the bottom. And so, like I say, I started as a volunteer, to a firefighter, to an engineer, to a company officer, but on up to a training chief, I was battalion chief, and then 2 stints as interim chief. I just saw that I reckon where growth, or where we needed to be, and I've made it my mission to try to get that means out in the field to the guys and the gals that's in the fire service. But it makes me feel good when I can see us growing. And I've been very fortunate here with the 2 boards that I've worked with since I've been here. And really the county manager, The county manager, we've only had one since I've been here, but he has been very instrumental to listening to the needs of this department and helping guide me and strive me, to this is what we need to do to get it. And I just feel like as a leader, it's my job to get the tools and equipment that the guys and the gals in the field need to do their job to benefit the citizens of this county. And so I just strive to, stay abreast of where we're going, focused on that path, and, working with, the county manager, the finance department, and our board, trying to meet these needs, setting them as goals, and then working to achieve them, really to make good things happen for the county.